All right, so I got a couple of videos to do, audios. I'm gonna do this one, Roger Jackson. I'm not gonna go through every single thing like everyone else has. Actually, I'm gonna be attacking a lot of ideas, and if those people fit those ideas, then yeah, it's against them. If you fit the idea, then it's against you. So look, trying to keep this short, which is gonna be difficult, but I'm gonna try. Um, yeah, Starscream, get on with the ceremony. All right. So look, what did he do? Just sum it up real quick. Is he had an altercation? Guy thought he was a wrestler. Didn't know Jack. He did a working attack with a beer can. A beer can. It was aluminum. It was empty. It crushed rather easy. Roger said didn't hurt, but it pissed him off. However, he was so pissed, he got up, got in dude's face, didn't do anything. I find that remarkable. So then, dude tells him, get him back in the ring. His fan base and himself hype himself up. You can hear the toxic environment. See, I'm going to go over something that no one else talks about, and that's the toxic environment that he obviously was raised in. Quentin, his father, really, yeah, he's got his issues. Roger obviously is in the area of I'm no punk, I'm not weak, don't treat me like that. But he hyped himself up, he gaslit himself into something that wasn't there. He premeditated, pre-planned, and then started talking about what should he do, how should he do it, yada yada yada. And then he gets in the ring when the guy was not expecting anything violent, because he had already apologized. He accepted the apology. So when you accept someone's apology, you accept the damn apology. But what he did was he de-escalated. Raja did, gave this guy a false sense of security, got into the ring, snuck him, used a legit takedown slam. The guy was incapable of protecting his head. All right, there's a difference when you put down as a pro wrestler to when you're put down in a fight. There's a difference. So the guy was knocked out from that. Raja then ground and pound. You could literally see this guy working on a bag, on the ground bag or whatever it's called. You could see it's almost picture perfect, beating this guy into a pulp. Okay, so judgment. I can say Roger Jackson is a coward. I don't care how angry he is. I don't care how great of a fighter he could be or is. What he did was cowardly. Cowardly. You don't sneak somebody. You don't give them a false sense of security and then sneak them and beat on them. Now, there are people, professionals. Now, Quentin's going to take up for his son, although it's cited that he's been on camera saying, yeah, like Quentin is the one you got to get bail money for because it's going to happen. All right. So when it comes to going to, people talk about jail. No, he's going to prison. If he don't go to prison, it's because the courts took pity and favor on him, like certain celebrities of pro wrestling and outside of pro wrestling have. So when they say stuff like this dude here, Psycho Stu, he's he was deserving of it because of what he did. He should have known better. No, he shouldn't. You are a professional in your area. If there is a professional boxing locker room, which there isn't, where all the boxers just gather up and stuff, and they're the only ones in there, and someone roll up in there that's kind of cut or whatnot, they can assume that that's a boxer. So Stu had to be told, dude, he's not a worker. He's not. And these professionals know this. They're professionals. When I say professionals, I'm not talking about just because someone dressed nice or carry their mannerism properly. No, I am saying a professional as in they have done this for so long, they know better. They know better. And so when they say Psycho Stu deserved this because he should have been watching out or something, he shouldn't have done. No. Dude should have came in and said, hey, y'all, this is Roger Jackson. You know, he's not a worker or anything, but he wanted to come back here and talk to y'all or something like that. That's how it should have been. You introduce the guest. That's what you do. You let everyone know who this person is, what a little bit of their background if need be, but you let them know if they are part of you or not. Because everyone back there is a wrestler. Okay? Everyone back there is a wrestler or works in the wrestling industry in some capacity. And then some of these professionals, they want to talk their crap. They'll be like, I support Raja. Really? You do? You support somebody that has beef with someone, accepts the apology, and then sneak them and then hospitalize them? That's what you support? You support that? See, this is why, I'm going to tell you, this is why I don't look for wrestlers outside of the ring. This is why I don't look, because if I have to know someone outside the ring, if I have to learn who they are and see all their stuff and what they do and what they say, I'm not going to watch pro wrestling because I'm going to hate that person. What's the saying? Never meet your heroes because they'll always disappoint you. It's just that. I want to know the wrestler. Why? I would, if I could do interviews, it would not be on real life stuff. It would be to their character, to what they do. That's what I would do, because that would be my fun. That would be my love. That would be my glory. I don't want to know them outside the ring, because then you know that, are they racist? Are they molesters? Are they pedophiles? Are they, other forms of sex offenders? Do they have kinks that would kind of make you messed up in the mind? You don't know, and there's no need to find out. You don't need to find out, because then are they the boss that ruins lives for the sake of LOL? YOLO, bro. You don't want to know that. You shouldn't want to know that. I'm not going to dictate what y'all. I take that back. I ain't say y'all should. No. But if you want to know that, that's you, not me. And so these people, it's frustrating. Because I'm gonna tell y'all why it's frustrating and why their comments are extremely bitch made, bitch ass, and have a strong solipsism to it. Because while they talk about Psycho Stu needing his ass beat, if they were put in that position, they would not be saying this. It would be, oh, woe is me. I can't believe he did this to me. That's what it would be. They sound like little punk ass bitches. All right, they'd be paper airplanes trying to fly in the rain. That's what they would be. And then they want to talk. I know they would talk tough. He wouldn't do that to me because he know what he would get. Yeah, see, let's just say it don't matter which of these celebrities. All right, they made a mistake, try to do a little working thing. Raja won't working with it. And they're like, my bad. I thought you knew, I thought you knew what we did. And he's like, no, I don't know what to do, And he's like, I'm sorry, man. And Roger's like, man, you know what? It's all right, cool, man. Water under the bridge. They get in the ring and Roger run in, scoop, boom, and start beating on him. They wouldn't have saw it coming. And if they did see it coming, they probably wouldn't be expecting a receipt. See, a receipt is given immediately. All right. I'm gonna give you a good example. I don't have to give you a definition. Here's a good example. Austin, Boss Man or Big Bubba Rogers, okay? Rogers popping them with some stiff working shots. You know, not enough to ring the bell, but you know, you can tell it's rocking. Austin said he came off the ropes for the clothesline, and Rogers lifted his head, preparing to take it across the upper chest, below the neck, and across the clavicle. But instead, and I remember seeing it too, it was funny, but he said he came off and he hit him with an elbow and laid him out. And he hit him with a stiff elbow. Not the kind that'll cut you open, but it was real stiff. And what did Rogers do? Did he get up and fight back? Did he fire up? No. He knew what he did. He said, all right, we're good. That was a receipt. That was a receipt. Taz talking trash about Rob Van Dam. Rob Van Dam gets word of it, gets fired up, and he goes, pick a hand. And he dealt with it. It was over. He gave him his receipt. It's over. That's how you do that. That's what that is. Roger didn't give a receipt. He didn't give a receipt. That was a full-on, premeditated assault. Now, the other people I'm going to blast are those that decide to, I don't know how it adds anything to this, but they sit there and they talk bad about the company. Oh, it's a mud show. It's a backyard show. It's a gutter show. It's a show with only a few people or whatnot. That has no merit in any of this attack. None. And I'm trying not to go into a different tirade about that type of talk, but I will link it to the toxic culture of this. All right? You talk that trash. It's about in front of how many? Just a few people? What is it, 40 people? 50? It don't matter. But then you've got these wrestlers that's doing what they can, where they can, in front of who they can. And all you can do is put down the company in terms of a turnout or a crowd. How weak are you? How weak are you? Remember when you got started in podcasting? Whomever you may be, whomever these people are that you may listen to. Remember when they got started, they had zero because nobody knew who they were. So then they talk about Roger. They like, you know, how he was flipping out and it makes no sense. Well, the dude don't want to be a nobody, but yet, how do y'all talk about him? He's a nobody. He's nothing. He's the son of a star. He's nothing. That toxic doesn't end, and you are adding to the atmosphere because everyone listening to you will uptake that crap and start doing it themselves. Or they will start internalizing it and wondering who might feel that way about them and how are they going to start acting out? How are they going to act in their videos? Are they going to be sensationalizing that stuff, trying to get views? Are they going to start lying? Are they going to start doing crazier stuff? Because, you know, they want to be in front of more than a few people for their mud show channel or something. It's so much I'm trying to say, and I want to do it before 20 minutes. But this whole thing is part of the greatest cover-up in the world, and that cover-up is making sure to never address the people and environment that perpetuates these types of things. If you advocate and perpetuate a toxic atmosphere, then you can't be angry or blame the sludge that comes out of it. It's that simple. So if you're gonna diss this company, I don't care. No one should care if they were part of WWEID and now it's no longer. They shouldn't care if it's Rikishi's or not. That's got nothing to do with it. It has nothing to do with it. What it has to do is show that, one, Were these wrestlers stupid or were they not? Because I'm going to tell you, going on that, when you see these people, what did they do? They didn't know how to react. They're wrestlers. They're all in on it. They are used to the work. They are used to the BS. There might be some incidents that happen. There might be some injuries that happen, but they know it's an accident or a receipt that went a little too far, but never overboard. Someone pops you real hard with an elbow or a knee, you get mad and you give them a legit punch and knock them out. Okay, that's too far. But then they knock them out, go to the top rope and give a legit knee drop to their face or their sternum or something and injuring them even further. That's overboard. You see the difference? He grabbed them, took them down, slammed them, punched them, done. Kept punching them, overboard. That's the difference. And the reason I should say take down, knockout, done, punch, overboard, but I can't because he's in go mode. But once you see that somebody is not responding, you are to stop. And he could have got that punch in and just say, that was it. I had to hit him. I wouldn't have felt right with me if I didn't punch him one good time. Fine, you get that. But that's if there was no apology. If there was no apology. If you didn't feign that you made up for it. See, that's the thing, and people got to understand that pro wrestling is joined by people from all walks of religious, political, and social lives. Okay, various views, but I'm gonna tell you the ones that make it to the top. There are a certain breed. Now, I ain't gonna say a breed because they'll change their ways and they will become those that might support more of how can I say, absolute control. I'll say that. That's what they'll support that, and those are the ones that climb, and they fit a certain mentality that don't care about someone else's safety. You know, even though you're supposed to protect each other and yourself at all times, way more in pro wrestling than any other sport. But these are the people that will advocate less safety for a victim, especially when that victim comes at the hands of a quote unquote celebrity. Is Roger Jackson a celebrity before this incident? Yes. A celebrity isn't by how many. It could be one person that just says, I love this guy. That's a celebrity to that person. But he had a following. He had and yet maybe has a following, and maybe it's grown. And he, unlike a lot, conversed with his following. So he is a celebrity. Is he well known like his father? Now he is, but before he wasn't. Does that make him nobody or nothing? No. Everybody, no matter how vile, is somebody. No matter how good, is somebody. So being toxic and calling him a nobody and all this and all that, no, that's where you're wrong. That people need to get it in their heads. What happened was wrong. What started it was a miscue, a mishap, a mistake. These wrestlers didn't rush in and start getting stuff done in that ring against Raja because they could not tell what was going on. And when they did, they went to the rescue. Sadly, the referee is just a little dude that had no idea what was going on because he probably wasn't clued in. And I have my thoughts about being clued in as a ref. But then the jackweed that came in and got the pin afterwards, seeing how his, his friend or at least his work peer is all busted up and he still got the pin. No. That is an idiot. the referee that counted 3 is an idiot. I'm not making any excuses for them. They are idiots. And when lawsuits come out, they should be a part of it because they aided in this guy. Instead of helping him up, making sure that he was not getting any worse, making sure that if you know that he could get better, and calling for help, an ambulance and whatnot. No, they carried on the show. No. Lawsuits all around. Would I sue that wrestling company? No. I would not sue that company. Who would I sue? Raja. That's one. That ref, that dude that ran in and got the pin. And I think that dude's the same guy that was talking about getting a receipt. You know, if you're going to call it a receipt and you assume that he knows exactly what you're talking about, that's on you. Because like, you got to give him a receipt. Like, yeah, wait, do you know what a receipt is? That solipsism. Everyone knows what I know because I know it. No, that is stupidity. That is insane levels of ignorance. You always check. Always. So that's all I've got to say about this. Toxic atmosphere, toxic people builds a toxic person. And sometimes, most likely, not. They'll just perpetuate it. Raja is already what some people would call a thin liner. They just blow up. They just blow up at anything they feel disrespected by. Or anything that annoys them, like would annoy you, enrages them. Anything that would enrage you, well, they're pretty much going to get a weapon. Or they're going to jump on you immediately. You know, so that's him. And I don't think they knew that about him. And if his friend knew that about him, he certainly should have said something to those other people. Like, yeah, he's got a serious temper, so just be decent with him. You know, don't go too far. Ask him what he's willing to do and not do. I don't know why it's so hard. I'm doing this off the top of my head. I listened to, and I'm going to tell you, I listened to Cornette on this. I listened to James Romero on this, and that's it. That's it. No. There was some other dude I listened to before them. I can't remember his name, but he did a good job. But nobody talked about him being a coward. No one talked about the toxic. Well, they were part of it, being toxic and saying he is a nobody and perpetuating how the company is nothing and weak and yada yada. And they all help. Romero, Cornette, they're all a part of that, and others. So if you don't like what I had to say, let me know what you didn't like specifically. Timestamp it if you got to. I always welcome that challenge on stuff like this. But now I'm going to do a request that was on Discord ages ago that I forgot because I was doing Movecraft and stuff. But look, y'all like, share, subscribe. Make sure y'all click that bell. And if you get unsubscribed, come on back. You know, I'm always willing and open to hear new things, different arguments and whatnot. But it's been Cedric for CRWC Commentary. Y'all be cool, be chill, be safe. And I'll see you next time.